Hi everyone, my name is Ruth Cabrera. The topic today is the imperialism. To understand what is imperialism, it's necessary to explain first what is the Industrial Revolution and the connection between these two. Industrial Revolution is a process that changed society and the economy due to the way of production of food, clothing, chemicals, transportation, communication, etc. by inventing machines that transformed agricultural societies from farm to new urban and industrial societies. The Industrial Revolution gave rise to the bourgeoisie class, wealthy people and merchants who introduced new technologies producing large quantities of products, accumulating a lot of money, leaving many farmers without work, forcing people to migrate to the city, and exploiting them in factories for very low wage. The industrialization of United States. Although the industrialization revolution began in the United Kingdom, it soon spread to the United States. Intercontinental train lines were built, the telegraph, metallurgical companies, oil, and large factories were developed. Poor people and thousands of migrants were exploited by the bourgeoisie class. In addition, the government itself supported the large monopolies and their expansion in other countries. The Civil War originated because the industrial capitalist North wanted the abolition of slavery and granted power to the federal government. However, the southern states wanted to maintain their agrarian and slave system and give almost all power to the states. This war left the South devastated and showed us how industrialization made its way throughout the country. But what is the imperialism? During the second half of the 19th century, an ideological trend emerged that became known as imperialism. Imperialism is the form of colonization of the technologically developed capitalist powers to the non-developed countries. Imperialism is characterized by the establishment of direct and indirect dominance relations, especially in the economic sphere. From 1870, imperialism was the new way to extend the territory of the industrialized country as a result of the first and second industrial revolutions. Between the empires, a rise of domination was created. They want to exploit natural resources in distant places. The world was divided between the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, the United States, and Japan. In 1885, at the Berlin Conference, the distribution of continents was organized. The United States were left with the American continent. The Europeans were left with Africa and Southeast Asia. Japan and Russia were left with the Far East. The empires were to occupy these territories through the classic colonization and also through the figures of the protectorate, where the political order was not replaced, but the economy and international relationships are controlled. In addition, protecting them from other empires. The crisis of 1873, caused by the worker struggles, the extreme accumulation of capital within the industrialized nations, the internal overproduction, made the bourgeoisie class think that the solution was to expand their capital outside their own territory and generate new profits in places with cheap raw materials and low salaries, as in the case of Puerto Rico, that was invaded in 1898. Its economy was broken, it was exploited, making great profits for large corporations and for the war. They made Puerto Ricans dependent on welfare system, creating vicious circle of social dysfunction. Hawaii, in the same way, was invaded by commercial and military interests. The Queen was overthrown. It was annexed as a territory in 19,000 until it became a state in 1959. Cuba, which was also invaded by the United States after defeating the Spaniards in 1898, has established the Guantanamo military base that works to this day. However, Cuba is not a territory of the United States. Thus began the expansion of monopolies at the international level. Within industrialization appears the image of the robber baron, people who create monopolies and accumulate a lot of money with dishonest strategies that practically controlled the economy and politics of the United States. Companies such as Standard Oil of Rockefeller, the richest man of the time, absorbed small companies, and those that were resisted were broken, and that to this day continues to exploit oil from foreign territories. Cornelius Vanderbilt was also another robber baron who has the monopoly of the train lines. There are many others as Andrew Carnegie, monopolies of the steel company, and J.P. Morgan, which to this day is a financial empire. All of them are philanthropies. Let's review the ideological and historical context. Imperialism was justified under the new social value on the bourgeoisie class that was based on the material progress promised by industrialization, which was typical of the dominant nations because they were more intelligent, capable, racially and nationally superior, evolving to a superior state. They believed it was natural that the stronger dominate the weaker, and above all civilize them. Discourses based on race, culture, language, religion, dominant nature assumed dominance over the weakest and was the justification for the imperialism. I hope my explanation was clear about the imperialism. Thanks for watching my video.